to another Marriage Matters. We're going to continue up on our review of the book His Needs, Her Needs by Willard Harley. As we've said in the past, this particular book has been very meaningful to us in our marriage, and it's been meaningful to the couples that we've recommended it to. So today we're going to talk about her need for security.
And so husbands, listen up. So wives have a need for security, and that need for security comes in three forms. And we're going to talk about each of those briefly, but here's what they are. First, financial security. Wives need enough to live comfortably and to take care of the home. Second, emotional security. Wives need to know that you're committed to the marriage no matter what. And third is physical security. Wives need a husband that's willing to protect them and be there in the moments of crisis.
So let's unpack these a little bit. The first one is financial security. But don't many wives work and have a career of their own? Sometimes women make more than their husbands do. So why is financial security an important need? Well, not only is it still a need for a wife, even if she is being a big provider into the family, it is actually a biblical mandate. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, "But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith, and he is worse than an unbeliever." This doesn't mean that a wife shouldn't make money. Instead, it's an emphasis on the husband's role as a provider for the family.
Yeah, and so we've worked with several couples where there's a financial imbalance, where the wife makes more than the husband. Some of these couples have struggled, primarily because the wife doesn't believe the husband is pulling his weight. We know of one couple where she made a lot of money, and she didn't expect him to make as much as she did. She just wanted him to have a steady job. But in the 10 years that they were married, he changed jobs 8 times. She felt like he was taking advantage of her financially to kind of flit about from one job to another. And in those jobs, he never made more than just a very, very, very small fraction of what she made. And so after 10 years of this, they divorced. And part of that reason was because he also wasn't providing emotional security.
So what is emotional security? It's the reassurance to your wife that you are fully 100% committed to the marriage, to the family, and to her. In a previous episode of Marriage Matters, we talked about how husbands are to love their wives as Christ loved the church. Wives intrinsically know when their husbands are providing that emotional security through their behavior, through their actions and their words. Emotional security is an important need for wives. I need to be able to trust Kurt 100% that he's there for me no matter what. I need to know that he loves me unconditionally. I need to know that he's always open and honest with me and he isn't hiding anything from me.
And then finally we have physical security, and this is meaningful for wives as well. You know, I try to do kind of small things for Lori's physical security. For an example, where we live, we don't have sidewalks. We kind of live out in the country. So when we go for a walk, we walk on the road. And when we take those walks, I try to make sure she's walking on the inside away from cars, and I always watch to see how the cars are kind of approaching us, and I may nudge her onto the gravel shoulder to keep us both safe. If we're in a huge crowd, as an example, I'll grab her by the hand so we can navigate the crowd together and not be separated.
I always appreciate how Kurt looks after me for my physical safety. And if it's icy outside, he'll guide me to the car or guide me to the building that we're going to. It's the little things like that make me feel like he's watching out for my physical safety.
Yeah, and so financial security, emotional security, and physical security are all things that kind of roll up into this wife's need for security. So husbands, here's some questions that you should consider. Are you providing for your family at least equal to what your wife is contributing if she works outside the home. Second, are you prone to fits of anger or inconsistent emotions so that your wife feels insecure? Do you go out with your friends or whatever and not let her know what you're doing? Does your wife trust you? And then third, do you show that you care about her physical safety? Do you help her when she needs it, or do you kind of let her go her own way? Are you aware of your surroundings and anticipate areas of risk for her?
And wives, here are some questions for you. Number one, do you feel comfortable and secure in your relationship with your husband? Do you trust him? If not, have you told him why? Number two, do you live within your means? Or are you berating your husband because you don't think that he makes enough because you have too many wants? Number three, what does your husband do that makes you feel secure? Have you told him how much that you appreciate it?
And so here's some questions that maybe you can ponder together. Husbands, ask your wife, what's the one thing that you can do to make her feel more emotionally secure and physically secure? What's her expectations? Do you know what that is? And then wives, ask your husband what you can do to support his career and his efforts to provide for the family. And then three, do you live within your means? Right? So what changes do you need to make to be more financially comfortable? Sometimes being financially comfortable just isn't making more money, but it's living within your means that creates that comfort.
Absolutely. So there you have it. Security is a wife's need, one of the 5 needs. We have other things that we want to cover, and we look forward to having you join us for the next edition of Marriage Matters. As always, if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have topics you'd like us to cover, please reach out to us at hillspringmarriagematters@gmail.com. Thanks, and as always, we're praying for you because your marriage matters.